Hi, and welcome to Thursday Comics. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, starring Adam Starr and the Solar Legion. This is a fun issue. Journey into Mystery with the Mighty Thor, number 119. And I don't know if this is the first time it appears, but it's definitely the first time I'm noticing the Marvel Pop Art Productions. Stan was trying everything, to make these books a success. And pop art was the big thing. Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein. And so, there's no trend that a Martin Goodman publication is not going to ride. And so Pop Art Productions was there for a while. They eventually took it down, but I don't see why that couldn't have stuck. That seems great to me. Some of the accounts I've heard is that Stan got kind of embarrassed into removing it, that it was maybe, a bit too much, but I think it's just great. And why not call this a pop art production? I'm sure somewhere there's a cover that Jack Kirby drew for this that got rejected in favor of taking some select panels from the story and making a little comic on the cover. Mighty Thor has no choice but to face the most powerful foe of all time, the unbeatable destroyer, whose strength surpasses that of the thunder god himself. While in far-off Asgard, even the evil Loki fears the result of the fatal battle. For only Odin has the power to stop the destroyer, Odin who is forbidden to interfere. That seems a little bit inaccurate, but you have a lot of license on the cover. On the cover, the interior is about art, the cover is about commerce, and you can say whatever you need to say to get the customer to pick up the book. All this and more awaits you in The Day of the Destroyer. The Day of the Destroyer. Love the colors. The Destroyer, the mind-staggering menace created countless ages ago by Odin himself. His purpose? To save mankind from some future foe if needed. But accidentally, the Destroyer is brought to life too soon, and the foe he faces is the mighty Thor. Who but Stan Lee could have written this tale? Who but Jack Kirby could have drawn it? Who but Vince Colletta could have inked it? Who but Artie Simek could be called Artie Simek? Once his blinding bolt of elemental power touches me, I'll be transformed into another element. But wait, I am changing already. Thor is becoming ghostly. I like this orange and yellow color scheme. The Destroyer's, throwing stuff at Thor. It's passing right through him. He's become a ghost. He's passing through the floor. Just really fun seeing this little cutaway view. Now he's back to his solid form. But what strange enchantment is this? No sooner do I land below than my body returns to normal again. Once more, I am a thing of flesh and blood and sinews. This temple is just like a really beautifully rendered space. Beautifully drawn by Kirby, beautifully inked by Colletta. And we flash back to Asgard and the cell that Loki's being held in. What trick is this? He lies prostrate upon yon floor. It is no trick, 'tis the result of a mystic trance, of which he is the master. I know well the symptoms. He hath sent a force of thought to earth, and the effort thereof hath rendered him unconscious. So what happened to Thor is the result of Loki's intervention, which we saw, set up in the previous issue, this nice little reversal. I did it! I saved Thor! I made his form unsolid. Can it be the madness is upon him? No matter, it is no concern of ours. But the strain was too great. My trance is ended. Nothing can save him now, except the power of Odin himself. But Odin sleeps the sleep of life, and none may awaken him under pain of death. But wait, there is one who might have succeeded where I have failed, the mistress of magic, the Norn Queen. Thor must be saved, for if he dies, Odin will know 'twas my doing. Only the Norn Queen can help. I must send her a mental wave image. So he sends that mental wave image off. Thor got a brief thanks to Loki, but the destroyer's right on his trail, and he is just melting the whole place, turning it into red hot magma. Just really great action adventure. Look at Thor climbing up this thing, these sort of jungle gym worlds that Kirby creates. And then look, he's getting up to the ceiling, getting himself in the space between here and pushing as hard as he can to break this beam. I feel like there was something similar in Prince Valiant's story. He's successful. The whole thing collapses and comes raining down on the destroyer. Now, this is a huge amount of debris to drop on somebody, but the destroyer, something about his stance, makes me think it hasn't really had any effect on him. Thor continues to evade. Again, a lot of variety and excitement in this space. And the changing color schemes helps make you feel this sort of move through space. And then, and now, we're in sort of these like 2-color situations or 1-color situations. And now we're in the full color to show us we're in another space altogether where, the body of Vincent is. Thor grabs him, and now we get to see the destroyer's big power employed for the first time, where he folds down his visor and then it sort of, charges up a beam that's going to shoot through. Now, when I colored the destroyer for the thumbnail for the previous issue, I gave him a red visor because I imagine Kirby envisioned like a red visor for the destroyer, and that it was almost sort of like the ruby quartz in Cyclops' thing, except, maybe the mechanism isn't the same, but I feel like it was the same kind of visual cue, visual impulse, and that when it's time to fire the laser, you kind of, fold down this crystal thing that sort of has the opposite effect that Cyclops' ruby quartz visor has. His can sort of, alternately block or open up and release the laser for Cyclops, but in the destroyer's case, I think of it almost like as an amplifier that amplifies the energy beam that comes out. And so now Loki has telepathically reached the Norn Queen. She has this cool looking box, cool looking setup. Loki asks for help, and she does. She goes out and telepathically reaches Odin. And if Odin is roughly awakened from his Odin sleep, he might die. But she's got a more delicate touch, and she's going to gently wake him from within his dream. My lord, awaken. Great is the danger that threatens the son of thy heart. Then with a sudden start, the regal head begins to lift as the imperial eyelids snap open with the force and majesty of a thunderclap as one word issues forth from the royal lips: Thor. So he gets up, gets his robe on. I mean, just, this really cool looking scene, all these amazing armored figures, great colors. He goes to his giant cube and sees what's going on Earth. He's got a million different ways of watching what goes on Earth, and no two look the same. And he sees, the danger Thor's in. Thor's kind of holding this guy hostage a little bit, that like, if you obliterate me, you're going to obliterate yourself. And so Thor's bluff works. Your life essence, it is returning to your mortal body. I can sense it. True, for I suddenly remembered you are pledged never to harm a human. Therefore you cannot strike at me, for with your godlike power, the slightest blow would bring death to my frail human body. He plans a trick. I must be vigilant. He runs back to his body to sort of touch it and reactivate the destroyer, but then the floor of the temple begins to crumble. The destroyer falls, and he falls too. It's kind of like a scene in an Indiana Jones movie when the whole temple's starting to come undone, and it's a race against the clock to get out before the whole thing collapses. Thor grabs him and runs out of there because, yes, he is pledged to never allow a human life to come to harm. And look at this. What a great use of a full page splash to watch this, to watch the bowling pins get knocked down. The previous issue, we saw the bowling pins set up. We saw this temple in all its grandeur. And now we see it destroyed, and it looks even more grand being destroyed. Great Götterdämmerung, great, apocalyptic imagery. As it smolders, he carries this guy back. I must have been mad to think that I could ever prevail in a battle with you. We assume Odin, caused this collapse, and he saw, how Thor, behaved in that dangerous situation, and he couldn't be prouder. Wally Wood's still on Daredevil. Only cunning Loki could have arranged for the destroyer to live again. We bring thee the prisoner Loki as commanded, sire. On your knees, master of treachery, nothing shall save you from my royal wrath this time. By your leave, sire, the prisoner did try to aid the thunder god. He begged to waken you, but was refused. Indeed, crafty to the end art thou not. You knew that the death of Thor would mean your own execution, and yet I do call thee son. I cannot find it in my heart to be merciless to thee. Attend my words, this sentence do I now pronounce. I bind thee in servitude to Ularak, my royal warlock. You shall labor for him till it pleases me to release you. Now go thou. Loki, this sort of master magus, is forced to, become a sorcerer's apprentice like Mickey Mouse. Thor, continues on to his adventure, but he starts to fly, but he forgot that there's a big chunk missing from his hammer that the destroyer had broken off, so he can't really fly anymore. He ignominiously crashes back to the ground, so he can't really travel in the way he's accustomed until he repairs that. In this panel, Thor says, "But I must reach America. I must find a forge, the mightiest forge in all the land." And so where that forge is located, I'll save as a surprise for people who don't already know the answer. And so now he flies by Nornstone. And so the trial of the gods is resolved. Odin gets, passes judgment and realizes that, Loki is a piece of shit and Thor is great. And so, now Loki's getting his punishment. And it's not the first time nor the last time Loki's been punished, put into exile, but he always manages to figure out a way to get back on top. Loki, fetch me yonder vat, and make haste. He dares speak thus to me. In this chamber of miracles, of wonders from all the realm, I shall not be a servant for long, for already have I conceived the most cunning, the most daring plan of all. Soon it shall be me, not Odin, who is master of Asgard, while Thor lies helpless at my feet. This annual is on sale now, so maybe we'll do Journey into Mystery number 120 next, and then after that we'll do the annual. It's pretty great. So now we get the Tales of Asgard, Gather Warriors. This big epic, quest is slowly being unfurled. Written with gallantry by Stan Lee, drawn with greatness by Jack Kirby, inked with grandeur by Vince Colletta, lettered with a straight face by Artie Simic. And if I haven't mentioned it already, Jack Kirby is the co-writer of Tales of Asgard and the main Thor story, even when the credits box doesn't say that specifically. Look at this beautiful ship. Amazing stuff. The mission of missions is about to begin. With an army of picked warriors, mighty Thor prepares to sail into the unknown to learn what dread power has caused a crack in Odin's enchanted oversword of Asgard. For if the crack should grow any larger, the entire universe may be destroyed. And so the ship's being loaded up, the crew is showing up, and Balder is sort of the secretary. He's keeping track of everything. And here comes Hogun the Grim. Hogun, the silent, sinister mystery warrior. None can probe his innermost thoughts. And, we're seeing, the first appearance of the Warriors 3. These, sort of sidekicks of Thor. These, very popular, long-running characters. And we know that we don't know much about this crew, and we know that some of the people in the crew are brought by Thor, and some are recruited by Loki, and you just don't know what any of their deals are. And I feel like Hogun is being set up in this panel as a heel, as possibly, like a villain, someone who's going to betray Thor, or maybe that is like a deliberate misdirection. And here's, Prince Adam or Luke Skywalker or somebody in the background trying to figure out what his deal is. And I feel like it's the same thing with Fandral the Dashing. And I see Fandral the Dashing joining our ranks. As well as Crota the Duelist and Magrat the Schemer. I trust them not, mighty Thor. And I mean, being grouped in with these two, again, it makes Fandral seem like, maybe he's a bad guy too. He's a literal mustache twirler here. So again, like, it's a great way to, whatever the intention was, whatever the plan was, if Stan and Jack were planning to make these guys into, good guys, it's a great way to set them up as men of mystery, very, you're really paying close attention. And then when they end up, being all right guys, it's a nice surprise. This guy here, showed up in the Masters of the Universe movie, which was, highly influenced by Jack Kirby. And now we have Volstagg, the comedy character, the comedic character of the Warriors 3. Now here he is definitely intended as a good guy, but a good guy who is a bumbler, boastful, just a really great character who's stood the test of time. Have at you, puny scoundrels, stand aside for Volstagg. By my sword, there shall be many a flattened head this day. And yeah, Volstagg, he's usually, getting his ass kicked, but then, talking about what a great job he's doing. He's all talk, and, in so many of his appearances, he talks a lot of brave talk, and then, runs the opposite way from danger. Thor's had enough of all this bickering, and he sort of knocks everybody down the way that, maybe Odin might. How say you, Volstagg? Do you accept the thunder god's command? Aye, son of Odin, my place is at thy side. But know you this, a moment more and I would have crushed yon ruffians. I feel like Volstagg's character also influenced the cinematic version of Gimli from Lord of the Rings. I feel like the characterization, a lot of it comes from this, in addition to the original novel. But I can't help but think, Volstagg's in the back of the minds of John Rhys Davies and Peter Jackson. And look at this great panel, just great physical comedy, in addition to the great, verbal comedy. My body bears 1,000 wounds gained in Odin's service. Always have I been in the fore of every battle for Asgard. 'Tis true, good Volstagg, but thou hast eaten too well since then. Yet, for all thy stoutness, I do not doubt the true loyalty of thee, Volstagg. Odds blood! None but mighty Thor could call Volstagg stout. 'Tis but my muscles that have grown more round. I shall show these rabble how a true warrior fights. I shall be in the forefront of each attack. Death to the forces of evil, victory to eternal Asgard. And I would attribute, the physical comedy here to Jack, and I would attribute the verbal comedy to Stan. Whether that's, that's my impression. And then we have Odin drawing back the curtain. Something disturbing that he's found. Ragnarok is coming, written on this wall. Now, the narration says that this is vandalism, that somebody snuck in and on this, holy wall of Asgard, someone wrote Ragnarok is coming. Some spy, some enemy within has done this bit of vandalism. But I do wonder if, in Jack's, pantomime play, if he's intending this wall to be sort of what later becomes the source wall in New Gods, where wisdom and warning and prophecy mystically appears in words of flame on this wall, and that if Kirby's Thor is indeed connected to the New Gods, if these are the old gods, or if something like them is the old gods with the New Gods, maybe this is the same wall. Maybe that the wall that Highfather finds, the wall that Isaiah the Inheritor finds in New Gods number 7, this sort of fractured wall. Maybe it's the last remnant of this wall of prophecy within Asgard. But the verbiage says otherwise. Our unknown, unseen enemy taunts us under our very noses. When I draw this curtain, you shall see what I have found etched deep into the royal wall. So it's, according to the verbiage, it's vandalism, it's threats and taunts written by an enemy of Asgard. But I think Kirby intended something else there. I think he intended this wall of prophecy that says, the source gives its irrevocable counsel, the source wall. And that's that. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics. I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee, and Jack Kirby's Star Warriors, starring Adam Starr and the Solar Legion. All 3 of those books are available for pre-order by following the pre-order links in the show notes below. I'll see you next Thursday.